And ahead of the North versus South game on Sunday the 1st of June, talkSPORT Alex Crook spoke to Harry Redknapp, who believes that the FA overlooked Eddie Howe for the England job.
I just thought maybe Eddie didn't fancy it at the moment. He's at a great club, but he would have took it. No one can turn the England job down, can you? He should have been nailed on for that job. It's crazy that he didn't get the job, Was he got to win a cup now to prove that he can manage England? I mean, it's so silly, isn't it, really? You only look at what he'd done, look at his achievements at Bournemouth over the years, 4th Division, or Division 2 as it's called now, into the Premier at Bournemouth. It's beyond belief, If you'd have said to me, Bournemouth being in the Premier League one day, I'd have thought you were off your head. And he's took him 100 years, never been out of Division 3 or 4. So what he did there was crazy. And so, yeah, he's got all the credentials, everything, and he's English. I want to see an English manager, and he's the number one, he's the man for the job. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, here's my question to you. Harry clearly, I think, has got a bee in his bonnet. And just for the record, I absolutely agree with him.
Yeah.
Are English coaches or British coaches in particular getting a rough deal because they don't get the opportunities that foreign coaches get? Remembering we've only got 2 English coaches in the top flight.
It's about perception, isn't it? I suppose is what it's at. I think if you look at coaching and managing trends, they go. At the moment, we'll go through our Portuguese phase. We've had our Spanish phase just before. We had an Italian phase not too long before that. I think the perception of English coaches and managers, which I don't think is true, is that we're considered lazy. We're considered a little bit old-fashioned in our approach. But the weird thing for me, Ali, is whenever you see these teams, they want to be new and inventive, and they're playing all this style. As soon as it goes wrong, where do they go? Tried and tested English managers.
Yeah.
So for me, I think Newcastle winning was massive for Newcastle, but I think for Eddie Howe winning was massive for English coaches. And I think it's the reason everyone was happy that they won, because now maybe he gets the top job, but also maybe everybody else looks and goes, hold on a second, we had this English coach here at Newcastle, look what he was able to do. So I always say, to Crookie about Eddie Howe, that I feel sorry for him, because he is carrying the weight of every English coach on his shoulders, and that him and Jason Tidwell are doing a fantastic job. So fair play to them, but they do need to look at the process again.
It's interesting, mate. Now, Sunday's 1-0 victory over Chelsea leaves Arsenal 12 points behind league leaders Liverpool, with just 9 Premier League games to go. On White and Jordan yesterday, former Invincible Martin Keown clashed with Simon Jordan, open brackets, not for the first time, close brackets, over why, that wasn't in there, I just made that up, over why he isn't calling Liverpool bottlers when he has previously to Arsenal.
You could say, and I'm just hearing it in my ears now, you can say I'm paranoid again. If this was Arsenal losing 2 major games like that, you'd say they bottled it
to win the league.
But I don't think they've just gone out of the Champions League and they've just lost a cup final. You'd be saying Arsenal have bottled it.
No, I wouldn't, because they're going to win.
No, you would, because that brings the mischievous part to your personality. We're seeing all of it exposed here this morning.
But Arsenal,
you've no love for the fact that a team has won a trophy after 70 years, and you can't find it in your heart to see any joy in that.
All done.
But you want to aim at an easy target.
All done.
Right. But I'm going to say, no, Liverpool. That was taken away from them by a very good Newcastle, and Liverpool haven't bottled it at all.
So let's get it right. You just asked the question, answered it yourself, created a narrative amongst yourself, and had a debate with yourself.
I'm learning with you.
I would not suggest, if Arsenal won bugger all, which is what they do right now, I would say they bottled it. Right? If Liverpool lose the league now, what do you think I'll say?
Liverpool aren't going to lose the league. I'm talking about what's just happened. What have they just lost?
So you can't
what have they just lost this week?
You can't make the argument they've bottled it, can you? And you can't compare it to the argument that I made with Arsenal, who were 8 points clear in the one competition that they could win. The one competition they could win, and they didn't. Liverpool had 3 opportunities to win a competition. If they win one of them, I'm not going to turn around and say they bottled it. And by the way, I wasn't in the camp of saying they were going to do a treble either.
Interesting one. I've got to be honest with you, I hate the term bottling it. Because I always find that people that use the term bottling it have never been there or experienced it.
Yeah.
So it's just a term. It's just a term that they use.
What would you say is a more fitting one?
Well, for example, I don't think Arsenal bottled it, right, when they didn't win the league, right? I think a better team comes up and beats them. I accept the point, if Liverpool threw away the league now, it would be very difficult not to use that term, right? But sometimes I think we're not appreciative of the fact how difficult it is to win league titles and cups. I mean, there's only one team that can win the league and one team can win the FA Cup. So I think it's very, very, and I don't agree with it, I think it's very harsh, for example, for people to call Arsenal bottlers. I don't like the term, and I don't think they are.
Yeah, I think... Listen, I've probably used it loads more times over the term. I think what the general consensus of it is that, in my opinion, that Arsenal are probably too nice at times to win it. That's fundamentally, I'm saying the same thing, just repackaging it in a different way. But I think when they were 8 points clear, you never got that feeling that they were going to win the league. And I think
because they're not going to steal.
Just when it comes to those big key moments, those moments when you go, right, go on and kick on, they always seem to just falter, whether it be a draw. They might not lose, they might get a draw, and then City got 3, for example. I think in that situation, when I was watching it yesterday and listened to it, Martin made up an argument against Simon and then argued with the argument that he made up and then ended up arguing with himself. It went really weird really quickly. I just think the problem with Arsenal is, and I think I would like to get your take on this before we go to the break, you know, when they've created such a historic media-wise outside of the football. So they're doing all these kits, all the fashion stuff. They're big on socials. They've got Righty back in. You've got Arsenal Fan TV. All of this hysteria away from the football.
Got it back up.
They're now getting to a point where everyone's not had enough, but they go, right, you want all of this great praise, but we're going to lay into you this way. And I think they get a bit more of a harsher stick because they get so much credit for the other stuff.
I think you've got to... I gave you a point. See great teams, they've got a killer instinct.
Yeah.
You look at that Manchester United team under Fergie.
Yeah.
I mean, they win games. They win games and they know how to go over the line, right? They know how to go over the line. That Manchester United team, Liverpool's great sides, the Manchester City side that we've seen. Yeah. There's a steal and there's an awareness and a belief that gets them over the line. Excuse me. Just because you don't have that, I don't think it makes you a bottler.
No, I agree.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I'd take that point. It's probably something I'll have to look into. I'll be honest, I use the term because I'm into boxing. Yeah. So they always say, you bottled it or you spewed it or things of that nature. But I do take your point.
I look at as I go on at Manchester United side under Fergie, that was a team that never knew they were beaten. I mean, you look at that ridiculous Champions League final, man. I've got somebody shouting at me when you go to a break, but that Champions League final against Bayern Munich, they were dead and buried. And that's what great teams do. They find a strength and they find a way to win a game.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.